They say pride comes before a fall, but sometimes the fall isn't just dramatic. Sometimes it's historic. That day in the Senate chamber, the temperature wasn't the only thing rising, so was the tension. America would remember the next 47 seconds for years to come. It began like any other hearing. Cameras rolled quietly, aides shuffled papers, and the air buzzed with that special kind of restrained chaos unique to Capitol Hill. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or AOC, walked into the room with her signature confidence, her red blazer as sharp as her tongue. She was young, intelligent, and unafraid to challenge the old guard. But on this day, she would meet a force she hadn't anticipated: Senator John Neely Kennedy of Louisiana. Kennedy, with his southern drawl and folksy humor, was often underestimated. His voice carried the unhurried cadence of a man who didn't mind being misunderstood until he chose not to be. With over 3 decades in law and public service, and degrees from Vanderbilt, UVA, and Oxford, Kennedy had more legal training than most in the chamber combined. But to AOC, he was just another conservative relic, and she came in ready to bury him. The hearing was about data privacy laws, a topic that had already drawn heated debates. AOC was passionate, articulate, and biting, particularly when addressing Senator Kennedy. "You claim to be a legal expert," she said, her voice ringing with conviction. "But your arguments sound like they were pulled off a Facebook comment section, not from someone with a law degree. Frankly, I'd be embarrassed if I were you." A chuckle rippled through the crowd. Some aides smirked. AOC leaned back in her chair, her smile thin and satisfied. Kennedy didn't blink. He reached slowly for his water, took a sip, and then leaned forward. There was no flash in his eyes, no raised voice, just a glimmer of something sharper than steel behind his folksy manner. "Congresswoman," he said calmly, "you can win a Twitter fight with applause lines, but you can't rewrite the Constitution with them." The room went silent. All the heat in the room vanished in an instant, replaced by a cold, undeniable truth. In that one sentence, 47 seconds after she mocked him, Kennedy turned the tables. It wasn't a rebuttal, it was a scalpel. The words landed like a thunderclap. Even those who disagreed with Kennedy politically couldn't deny the precision of the blow. He hadn't insulted her. He hadn't raised his voice. He had simply exposed the heart of the matter. Rhetoric is not the same as law, and charisma does not equate to constitutional command. AOC, normally quick to respond, paused. Her confidence, though not shattered, visibly faltered. She adjusted her notes, cleared her throat, tried to pivot, but the moment was gone. Kennedy's words lingered like smoke. But this story wasn't about humiliation, not really. What followed is what made that day truly unforgettable. After the hearing, reporters swarmed both parties, each spinning narratives in their favor. But something more human was happening behind the scenes. AOC, to her credit, didn't storm out or retreat into silence. That evening, behind closed doors, she requested a private meeting with Kennedy. Not to argue, but to listen. And Kennedy, he welcomed it. The meeting was off the record, but aides later spoke of a long, surprisingly respectful conversation. Two public servants from opposite ends of the ideological spectrum, sitting down to talk, not tweet, not spar but talk. Kennedy shared stories. From his early legal days, the battles fought not for TV soundbites, but for justice in dusty courtrooms where no cameras rolled. AOC, in turn, spoke of her grassroots activism, the communities she represented, the people who counted on her voice. And somehow, in that room, over coffee and quiet words, the ice began to melt. They didn't leave agreeing. They didn't suddenly become friends. But they left with something rarer: respect. That 47-second moment went viral, of course. Memes, reaction videos, and endless debates followed. But what the world didn't see was what grew from it. The two began collaborating quietly on bipartisan issues: student loan transparency, social media protections, and data ethics. Small things perhaps, but real things. It became a story not about who crushed whom, but how conflict, when handled with grit, grace, and humility can forge unexpected bridges. And that is the lesson left behind. In an age where shouting matches often pass for politics and division, is a sport, one sharp sentence delivered, not with cruelty, but with clarity, reminded everyone that real power lies not in silencing your opponent, but in earning their respect. So the next time you watch a hearing, remember, what happens in 47 seconds can shake the room. But what follows, when the cameras stop, is what can change the country. And that's the kind of story worth telling.